Hey folks, here for a bit of a rant because I stumbled on a story that is quite frankly pissing me right off. This has to do with a mother in her mid-30s, whose name I will not be revealing in this video, because frankly I don't want anyone tracking the source of this poor woman's distress down based on information I divulged. Anyway, this woman agreed to be recorded by Parents TV in an educational breastfeeding video to help new mothers having difficulty getting the hang of it. Now, she wasn't paid for this, she didn't seek recognition. In fact, part of the agreement stipulated that her full name and the name of her daughter, the wee little one doing the breastfeeding, would be entirely confidential, along with the promise that the video would only appear on the Parents TV channel and website. Well, 6 months later, she did a Google search of her own name, which is something that I'm guilty of doing to see whose identity I could steal, and found out that these promises hadn't exactly been kept. See, her full name was on the video. Worst, a third party found and snagged the footage and placed it on a series of other sites, pornography sites. Even worse, in a few instances, the footage of her breastfeeding was spliced together with more footage of a woman who looked very much like her performing, well, porn stuff. But the icing on the cake? A Google search of her infant daughter's name resulted in links to these porn sites as well. The entire thing disgusts me beyond measure, and as far as I'm concerned, the sick fucks who put this porn twist together should be hung from the ceiling by their fucking toenails as rabid wolverines gnaw their way from the scalp up and a bored attendant pokes at them with a hot iron. Bad enough to turn a breastfeeding video into porn, deliberately using this woman's real name in the process, but to make it so that her infant daughter's name yields the same results? What sort of heartless, sociopathic shit smear do you have to be to decide that this is an acceptable move in any circumstances? That the company responsible for handling the original breastfeeding footage was careless enough to let it get out like that, suggesting a complete lack of internet security measures, and also divulged the two names that they promised would remain confidential, is beyond unacceptable. The company who made the original breastfeeding video, for the record, insists that they have no responsibility for this, or liability, because this woman signed the forms to make this video, including a release form that basically spared the company any blame if, essentially, this exact thing happened. Now, you might say that, well, she should have known this might have happened, but all she did was trust a reputable and evidentially trustworthy source when they told her that her privacy and identity would be protected. She did what she did for no compensation, not wanting any recognition. God, no! She did it because she had trouble breastfeeding as well in the past, and just wanted to help other moms. Any company that is going to put together this sort of footage, to say nothing for releasing it on the fucking internet, should make it verbally clear that there is a very real risk of this sort of shit happening. Because they obviously knew it might, thus the release form they had her sign. But having her sign away the right to lay blame was the only preventative measure they took. They didn't tell her the footage could and very well might be ripped for pornography. And you know what? Of course they didn't. They want women to make their breastfeeding video. If they told these women they might end up internet porn figures, nobody but a porn figure would volunteer. Any legal action they took to try and stop the porn sites was meant solely to cover their own ass by creating an illusion of effort and responsibility. Because bottom line, there is simply no way that this will ever be cleansed from the internet. You can shut down a site, hell, you can shut down 10 sites for running these videos, but there will always be 20 more just lined up with the footage. This is something that will never vanish, not entirely, and I can only hope that over the years it will fade into the background, lost in the vast amount of material floating out there now, and that this woman finds some measure of peace at some point. Now, I also hope whoever got the ball rolling on turning her footage into pornography dies in a house fire. Sorry. Well, no, I'm not. Look, one benefit of the outrage and resulting internet articles that this mess has sparked is that a Google search for her name now yields pages and pages of articles about what happened, not automatic porn links. So there's a small benefit there. Anyway, just take this as a warning whenever you're on a webcam or uploading silly footage to YouTube or even Facebook. it only takes one leak, one slip, for the most embarrassing moment you've ever documented to become a viral video hit, whether you want it to or not. And when it's out there, once it's out there, you're never getting it back. So guys, this is Arterot, admittedly going against his own personal male instincts by advising women out there to resist the urge to flash someone on Skype, unless you're willing to see it splashed from one end of the internet to the other.